Guys, fat loss doesn't fail because you're undisciplined. It fails because your body gets better at surviving your diet. And if you don't understand that, then fat loss is always going to feel random. So by the end of this video, my goal is simple. I just want you to know how to spot when fat loss is about to stall and what actually needs to change so it doesn't, because this is the part that most people never get the chance to learn. So here's what usually happens. You start a diet, and in the beginning, everything works exactly how it's supposed to. You eat less, you train more, and the scale starts moving. So let's say you calculated your maintenance at about 2,200 calories. Then you decide to run a 400 calorie deficit, so you start eating about 1,800 calories a day. You're tracking, you're consistent, and after the first couple of weeks, you're down 4 or 5 pounds, and at that point, you think this is perfect and it works, so that's when you decide to lock in. Then more time passes by, you're still tracking and you're still training, and because the deficit worked early on, you keep eating the same 1,800 calories. And then one day, out of nowhere, when you're feeling totally unstoppable, that's when you decide to step on the scale, and instead of seeing a lower number, it's either the same or even worse, it went up a pound. Now your mind starts racing and you start wondering if you're cheating without realizing it, if you're not disciplined enough, or if you messed something up. But most of the time, none of that is true. What's actually happening is simpler and it's way more frustrating. Your body's adapting to the diet. It's not fighting you, it's not sabotaging you, it's just doing what it's designed to do, and that's adapt. See, at the most basic level, fat loss always comes down to energy balance. You burn more energy than you eat and weight goes down. That part isn't controversial. The part most people get stuck at is when they assume the burn more side of the equation stays the same forever. And that's the biggest mistake because it doesn't. So here's a real world example. At the start of a diet, you might naturally be hitting about 10,000 steps a day. That's when you feel lighter, so you move more, and it happens without effort. And then a few weeks later, calories are lower and energy is lower, and now you're closer to 7,000 steps. And that's not because you chose to move less, it's because your body quietly made that adjustment for you. The same thing happens with training early on. Workouts feel harder and efficient, so you burn more calories doing the same exercises. As weeks go by, your body gets better at them. The same movements, the same sessions, just less energy burned. That's adaptation. Then hunger shows up. At first it's manageable, but later on it shows up early in the day and it hits harder at night, and then it gets louder in your head. And at this point, you're not just dieting, now you're actually negotiating with biology. This is why the deficit that worked in week 1 doesn't feel the same in week 6. If your weight isn't changing, by definition, it's really no longer a deficit. That's why fat loss starts to feel unfair. From your point of view, nothing changed. Calories look the same, training looks the same, but from your body's point of view, everything changed. And this is the part almost nobody plans for. And that's because most fat loss plans are built to start a diet, not to manage adaptation once it shows up. People don't get stuck because they failed. They get stuck because the plan never accounted for the body adjusting. When adaptation shows up and nothing in the plan changes, fat loss slows or stops, and this is where strategy actually matters. This is also where people confuse aggressive dieting with effective dieting. Instead of adjusting intelligently, they panic. Calories drop harder, cardio gets added, and discipline becomes the explanation. Hunger skyrockets, daily movement drops even more, and recovery gets worse. And that's when fat loss becomes harder, not easier. Not a discipline problem, that's a strategy problem. So what does adjusting intelligently actually look like? It starts with understanding what a smaller sustainable deficit really is. See, a sustainable deficit is usually around 10 to 20% below maintenance, not extreme cuts. That's a range where fat loss can continue while hunger stays manageable, daily movement stays higher, and recovery doesn't fall apart. See, the goal isn't to lose weight as fast as possible. The goal is to lose weight without forcing your body to compensate. This is why structure matters. Structure means planning for adaptation instead of reacting to it. It means adjusting the right lever at the right time instead of blindly cutting calories and hoping it works. One of the biggest reasons fat loss stalls is because people don't know when their body has adapted or what actually needs to change. That's why I built the free questionnaire link below. It helps you figure out whether fat loss is stalling because of calories, movement, recovery, or diet fatigue, so you're not guessing or punishing yourself. If you fill it out, you'll at least know what problem you're actually solving. And if you want help applying this to your body, not a calculator, not a generic template, that's what I do. Fat loss doesn't fail because you don't want it badly enough. It fails because most plans don't evolve as your body does. And once you understand that, then fat loss stops feeling random. If this helps you, then like and subscribe. I don't sell hacks. I teach structure that works in the real world.